And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Florida, and hello, world. I am Robert Henderson Jr., President, Founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group, located here in Miami Lakes, Florida. Boy, and joining me here is my brother from another mother, the living legend, the one and only James T. Thomas. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, Rob. Like we say, today is the best day of my life until midnight. And at midnight, it's going to be the next day. Every day gets better, Rob. And of course, seeing your face, I see you got back from your trip to New York and Pennsylvania, and you got back safe. You know we were praying for you, Rob.
Oh man, I was praying too, man. I was praying too. I said, man, with these flights and the traffic controllers, and I flew into Newark. But you know what? Going there was a 6 a.m. flight, leaving there, so everything was fine. But coming back on that Sunday, man, I said, Lord, let be with us. They only delayed the flight 1 hour, but after that, we got home safely. And I said,
Beautiful.
Thank you, Lord. You
Beautiful,
know what I mean?
beautiful. Well, hey man, I'm excited, and we've got a little tight schedule today, Rob. You and I were talking before we came on about how we have to continue to build community, and how God blesses us, not just for us, but blesses us so that the blessing can go to us and through us, so that we can be a blessing to others. And I have a young man that we brought to South Florida way back when, and very proud of him. He's written a book, and I'll let him tell you who he is and where he is and what he has. I won't take up any time. So let's bring him in, Mr. Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges.
Todd is my cousin, actually. I'm Travis, aka
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Travis Bridges.
Look at him. Look, hey, Rob, I haven't seen him in a long time. He's looking all adultish. when I first met him, he was a young man.
That was in 91.
Now he's acting like me.
I know. You know what? This is the first time I've ever allowed my goatee to grow some length. Normally, I kept what they call the shadow, but I've got a new granddaughter on the way. And when I found that news out, it's like, I've got to make a symbolic, gesture to welcome my new granddaughter. So it's like, I'm going to let this grow. And it's been growing now for a few months. And she'll be here in the 6th of July. And that's when I'll consider if I'm going to cut it. So yeah, I probably do look more adultish today.
Okay. Well, Mr. Travis, and forgive me for saying Todd. I don't know where Todd came from.
The T always triggers that. I get it all the time.
And Robert, we always knew him as Scott Murphy. And on the radio, he was Scott Murphy.
Well, how did the T turn to a Scott? That's the middle name.
That's a story that's in the book. That whole story is in the book, but it's an on-air personality. I decided to change my name because of the competition of a station that I worked in Carolina, and Scott Murphy was the name that was placed in my heart. And even to this day, many of my friends still refer to me as my radio name. And even my son, my only son, is named after me. His middle name is Scott, in honor of my radio days.
Wow.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. So give us a rundown, Doc. I know you have a book, and I know you've got an appointment coming up at the top of the next hour. So we're going to give you a few minutes here to tell us what's happening with you, what you've done, and how can people support.
First of all, I want to say thanks to both of you for allowing me this opportunity. And as I was listening to you chat before I came on, I was thinking of what my mother used to say, that, if you do what you're supposed to do and do it well, your gifts will make room for you and bring you before, in the presence of great people. And when I did my research on Mr. Henderson, and of course, T, there's only one James T. And I'm like, wow, I have this opportunity on the release of my book to be in the presence of two cats like this. I know that I have to now bow my head and say my mother was right again with everything that she has said. So thank you for the opportunity. But to answer your question, my book was released on Mother's Day, the 11th of May, 2025. It's entitled My Mother's Fifth Child. The subtitle is Revealed Exposed. It's a book that I've been working on for about 5 years now. And I've had, I can't even tell you, the struggles I had with trying to get it published for so long, but finally it is published. It is more like a memoir about my life, who I am, why I am the way I am. And it's a collection of different stories of why I am even at this very point right now. When you listen to and or read some of the stories, you can see some of the similarities of, okay, now I see why this guy is this way or that way. So it's a memoir, something that I had inside of me. It was 5 years of therapy that I was able to jot down and actually publish.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Where are you now? Where are you now, Travis?
Right now, I am outside of Medellin, Colombia. That's in South America. I've been traveling back and forth here. As a matter of fact, almost 5 years ago, in November of 2020, is when I came here to record my third CD project and to actually write this book. So about 85% of the book was written here in South America, in Colombia. But of course, the book took precedence over the CD. And now I do have something else I need to accomplish before I get to heaven. And that is my third musical CD project. So I am in Colombia, and I am now about to go out for another gig, as you mentioned before. So that's where I am now.
Okay, now tell me something. You mentioned the CD. So has the CD been released?
No, the CD I have probably 10 or 12 songs that me and my producer, we've been working on, and we only have one song that's actually on the board. This has been the Guinness Book of World Records. We could win the procrastination award for that. And I'm going to take responsibility because, as I said, I had some life challenges that you will hear about in the book, as well as the book itself. It just took precedence over the CD. But now this is out the way. We have a clear road ahead. At least I do. He's always had it, to now work on the CD. But right now I'm going to work on promoting the book and sharing it with people who would be interested.
Let me ask you a question. So do you live in Colombia?
That's a good question. And I will say I would call it an extended stay, because I still am a resident. I am a proud American. I will always be a proud American. And I do have my primary residence in South Florida. But yes, I do spend a lot of time here for many reasons, and we can get into that at another time. But yes, I can say, I don't want to say I live here, but I stay here quite a bit.
And hablo español?
I'm learning. I hear more than I speak. And one of the things about learning, people are embarrassed and ashamed because they haven't perfected it. And of course, I'm that guy who wants to be perfect with everything. So I probably speak a lot better than I think I do, but I hear well. So when people speak, I use my translator often, and I understand much more than I speak or than I'm willing to speak. So I'm getting there. It's on the list, and it's a part of my daily grind, including workouts and just fitness and learning Spanish. So I'm getting there.
So one more question, because I know James got an agenda. He got some questions for you, but let me get this in. Why do you think people should read your book?
Well, that's another good question. And I really have to be careful with what I say, because I've gotten in trouble trying to answer that question. My book was not written necessarily for people to read it. Although now that it's finished, I kind of hope they do, because of the effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it. But I think that my experience speaks to the lives of many people, especially the culmination of what happened towards the end of the book. I believe so many people can relate. And I know that the information that I was able to get from myself, many people will go to their grave without talking about the traumas that they experienced from childhood. So I don't know what got inside of me that made me bold to go and talk about some of the things that were very tough to talk about. I believe people will be able to relate. And I'm hoping that if people get into it, they will be able to say, okay, I'm not the only one that went through this, that, or the other. I just believe it's a collection of stories that's relevant to people who do the same thing, but don't have the ability to express themselves in that way. So I think I'm just being a pioneer of saying, yes, you can, if you really want to, because we walk around with so much stuff that we don't share, we don't talk about. And sometimes if you can just talk about it, it's a breakthrough. We overcome by come on, T, help me out. We overcome by the words of our testimony. And this is just a big testimony, because there's some personal, there's some private, there's some stuff in there that I normally would not have ever said. And like most people would have taken it to my grave. But I think it was just perfect timing. And the things that developed were just there for me to just be able to express it. And I believe in my heart that anyone that can actually get into it will see themselves in what I've been able to go deep inside of myself to express, reveal.
Yeah,
and
because
expose.
oftentimes people think what they're going through is no one else has been through this and it's a lonely road, but you're basically inspiring people to saying that basically you are not alone. I have done it and you can get through this, basically.
And not
right?
me. There are many other people. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go ahead and name drop. I read Stephen A. Smith's book just as I was finishing my book, and I said, "Oh my God, it's similar, the same thing." More people probably do need to tell their story, not necessarily in a book or on a platform, maybe in a movie, but we all have unique experiences that
Oh,
we
yeah.
can all learn from and grow from. So to answer your question, I just believe it's relative to what many people experience, and I believe it will it'll bless people.
Excellent.
Let me say this, Rob. I don't know his entire life, but when I decided that we were going to offer him an opportunity to come to South Florida and be on the airways here, Mr. Scott Murphy, as we knew him, Travis, as probably others, he was willing to do, Rob, what we talk about often, and that was to step out and take that risk of faith. See, Rob, people have no idea what God will do if we will only take that step of faith. Some people call it a risky step, but if you are really connected, with the Creator, and you are recognizing that we are living not so much in a country, city, or county, but you're living in the kingdom that He created. And if you were willing to be a kingdom citizen, you have commonwealth. And the key, I believe, that you'll get, hopefully from the book, is that because of Him, we have access to so much in becoming all that He created us to be. And I'm proud of you, my brother. I wish you the very best on your book. And hey, give us that title again and
it's
let them know how they can get it.
My Mother's Fifth Child. The subtitle is Reveal, Expose, and there's also another subtitle. It's The Knee Baby, because there's 6 of us. I'm number 5 of 6. So the official title is My Mother's Fifth Child, Reveal, Expose, and it's available on Amazon. And midnight on tomorrow night, it'll be on my website, travisbridges.com. So you can get it at Barnes and Nobles after midnight tomorrow, but right now it's available on Amazon.com. Just search my name, Travis Bridges, and or My Mother's Fifth Child, and it's available.
So
we're gonna.
So,
go ahead,
Scott,
go ahead,
so Travis, that T, are you in any relationship to the actor Todd Bridges? Any relationship?
Well, we claim each other because I have got to chat back and forth with him through social media, and because I use T a lot when I use my name, the first thing that pops into anyone from our culture is Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. You just cannot be over probably 50 and not say CT Bridges and think Todd Bridges. So I don't know if we're blood relatives, but with the few chances that I've had to communicate with him on social media, we claim each other. And when people make the mistake and say Todd, I go ahead and tell this same story and say, well, that's my cousin, but I'm Travis. AKA Scott.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, what we'd love for you to do too, Travis, is to post up in our chat that information so that it'll be there in the future when people see it and listen to this. They'll know how to get your book. And hey, man, much love. And Rob, he travels to and fro. He is not just an air personality. He's a producer, as he says. He has also done production on our station. Many people in South Florida has heard his voice on commercials throughout South Florida. So he's in radio, but he's also an artist. He plays a lot of events throughout the country and, of course, in Colombia as well.
Wow. So James, when you brought him to South Florida, which station did you bring him on? Hot 105, 99 Jams? What was it?
99 Jams. I brought him to 99 Jams. I was programming.
It was still called the new 99 Jams then. So I got in on that tail end of the new 99 Jams.
Wow. And this is in the 90s? This is in the 90s?
I came down in 91. It was that story is in the book, and it was one of the most impactful moments of my life. Between Mr. Russian and James T, I cannot tell my life story without mentioning them and without mentioning that Miami experience. I tell you what, man, James T could have a kidney if he needed. Him and Mr. Russian, they could both take both one each if I could stay alive, because they were
You
very,
need one of them now. You
well, I
need
know.
one of them.
Well, if they can keep me alive and to keep them alive, I'd
Artificially.
sacrifice both of them. Yes.
Artificially,
But,
okay.
I
yes, so
appreciate
nice
that, my
when I
brother.
came down.
Much
Absolutely, T.
love.
Anything
It was
for you, bro.
great having you, man. Have a wonderful day. Do stay safe, and we'll look to chat again to talk
You
about the
got it.
successes of the book. All right.
Awesome. Take
much
care.
love.
You guys got it. Thanks
All right,
again.
bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Man, I can tell he's a good brother, man, and he is very appreciative in what God has done for him. I can just feel it, man. I can tell it. And that's why he wants to tell other people also that you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, hey man, you're not alone, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. We gonna be all right.
He's been into he's the saxophone. Well, he's a musician.
Very
So
talented.
He plays very talented musician, and man, really proud of him when he took that step of faith and came down at a time when he was having a newborn. Like I said, it'll be in the. I'm sure he'll have it in his book. But for all of our viewers and all of our listeners, taking that step of faith is so important. And Rob, I'm gonna let you get into what you want to present today, but I had the pleasure of seeing another interview with a gentleman I've interviewed many times, and particularly when I was sitting in for Chief Jimmy Brown doing Hot Talk on Hot 105. And that, brother, to have people to share with us a history that we don't know and to give us steps, or as Miles Monroe says, keys, to things that we need to know in order that we can get to that place that we ought to be. Man, we need community, Rob. We need to do what we just did and what others are doing in helping others to become, so that we can show that we can unite, we can help others, we can build community. Because you and I grew up in a time where, hey, the community where we lived was all we really had, and we weren't really welcomed into other communities. So we're hoping that a part of what we're doing here on Understanding Money with the Henderson Financial Group will encourage others to take their step and build their platform as well.
Yeah, man. I see the gang is all trickling in. We wasn't here last week, but we're here now. Good morning, Denise Ward. Good morning, Nails. Spa, good morning, Islam. Good morning, Curtis Kegler. Gaines all in here. Mr. and Mrs. Redhead, Brenda Brown. Good morning, Norvik. We're all falling in here. I see. Yeah, we're back. I was out last week. I was traveling, but we're back, and we just interviewed Mr. Bridges, Travis Bridges, and he wrote the book My Mother's Fifth Child. A very inspirational book. I hadn't had a chance to read it, but we'll check it out. I want to say thank you for everyone to attend. I know, getting up and life. Boy, I tell you, if you looking at the headlines, boy, you may lose your mind. What's going on? What's going on with this? What's going on? I don't know how I got this comment on the air. Goodness gracious, I was hitting some stuff, and I was hitting, and now I don't know how I got Norvik comment on there. James, I think you're muted too, James.
I got it. I have just a headshot.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing.
Okay, we're back to normal now, right? We're back to normal.
And Norvik, I don't know how I got you up there, but everybody see you, everybody see you saying good morning. I don't know how. Boy, I tell you, this thing was moving all around, but y'all can hear me, right?
Yep, you can be heard, Rob.
All right. So today, let me see if I can take that banner off here. Y'all give me a minute, because I need to take this banner off.
Obviously, I don't see what you see, Marvin. Rob. It might be just you, because on the comment section, I see where he said good morning at 9:02, but I don't see anything else.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
All right.
Okay, so maybe it's just there with
Maybe
you.
just me. All right, let's go. All right, so today's sermon that I'm going to preach about, I'm going to talk about. Today's sermon, I was thinking about this. Today's sermon is what is true financial planning? What is true financial planning? Because, you know, a lot of people don't a lot of people don't really know what financial planning is, and they get it mixed up with investment planning. They get it mixed up really just with retirement planning. They get it mixed up, just a financial advisor, a job, and the job of a financial planner. So I want to go over, because when I look at it, James, as me being young and as my age I am now, I'll be 67 years old this year. And when you look at the big picture and you do some introspection and you reflect on your life and your financial life, and you look at it and you say, man, what was it all about? What was it all about? So I want to cut to the chase. So I want to talk to people and tell people why we do what we do, and what's your goal, and what's the end goal, and where you're trying to get. So total financial planning, first of all, you have to look at what's coming in and what's going out, your budget. That's the foundation. That's how we start. Okay, so if you're making $60,000 a year or $70,000 a year, even more, if you're making $100,000 a year, whatever you're earning, if you are spending all of it each year, you're an accident waiting to happen.
You need financial help.
You are a accident waiting to happen. I want you to think about this. So a lot of people think they get more money. They need more money. No, I don't care. There are people that make $1 million a year and they spend $1 million a year. There's people that make $10 million a year and they spend $10 million a year. So it's not just the dollar, the amount, it's the mental. It's what you're doing and how you are doing it. There are a lot of people who died, they were millionaires. There are a lot of people right now who are multimillionaires, and they were janitors. They was school teachers. What they had in common is they did not spend and eat all of their nuts. They did not spend everything. They understood that you cannot, if you make this amount, you can't spend this amount. If you make this amount, you can't spend this amount. They understood that concept. If you make this amount, you should only spend this amount. So that in between, that is your lifestyle. That is your future. That is your gathering of your nuts. And I'm using a metaphor as like a squirrel. A squirrel gathers nuts to live off right now, immediately, right now. But they always put some in away, because winter is coming. In other words, if you live, you're going to need that to live off of. And that's the concept. That's the whole concept, man, of financial planning. And James, that seems so simple, but millions and millions and millions and millions, all walks of life, all shape, all color, all creed, don't understand that. They don't practice that.
Do we have any idea? Does research, is anything that says why won't we, Rob? Why won't we want to keep the records, for and not just for taxes, but why won't we want to keep a record to know where we are? And as you said, so that we can have a plan to get us to a better place.
Distraction. No, the powers that be, the people that take your money, that's vying for your money, they're continually, every month of the year, there's some sort of special, holiday or something, to take your money.
Every month. They designed it like that. When you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, I got extra money, your nuts that you didn't eat and have over there, they got something for you. They got a new car commercial. They got some new fingernails, a new whatever. They got new clothes. That's the money that they want. They want that extra money that you have so you can spend it. And then when you spend it, then they got a credit card company that's saying, hey, you can get this with no interest down. Now, you can get this with no interest for a year. But boy, when that interest hit, woo,
They are vying for your money. So what really is financial planning? Financial planning is saving more than you spend each pay period. That's what financial planning is. And if you could do that, you're going to have a great lifestyle. Reason why? Because let's think about this. If you are spending everything right now that you earn, and you're saying you're living paycheck to paycheck, one thing certain that's going to go up is the cost of goods and services, things and stuff. If the money that you're making and earning is not keeping and step by step with the cost of goods and services that go up, and that's minimum 3% a year, then that means you're going backwards. So if you're not getting the 3%, that's why you have people striking. That's why they do those strikes, whether they're striking at the airlines, or they're striking at Amazon, or they're striking at any company. People strike because the amount of money that they are making is not keeping tabs and time with the cost of living and everyday living, which is going up every year, minimum 3%. That's what's happening. It's going up 3%. So your money, when the cost of living going up, rent, everything go up that way, your money got to go up too. But when you're stagnant and things and prices and services goods are rising faster than what you are having, then problems, and you live in paycheck to paycheck. If you live in paycheck to paycheck, you're one step away from being fired. How could you retire? You're going to retire to what? You're a squirrel that ate your nuts and didn't save none. So the whole thing about financial planning is not spending all that you earn. I don't care if you make $30,000 a year. If you make $30,000 a year, that means you got to automatically say, okay, I got to live off 25,000. This 5, I'm going to save for myself because I need to have this in case something happens. That's really a lot of people, for the reason what we talked about, have been just bamboozled to not do that, because there's always shiny stuff. There's always stuff, things and advertisement to try to get your money and try to take you away, whether it's having a good times, whether it's taking cruises or going out buying gold or diamonds and putting on your ran around a Prada or Gucci, or just trying to keep up with the Joneses. All of that is your life. You're spending today your lifestyle, the future. Now, some people say, man, life is not promised to me. I might not live, another 10 years. Well, if that is the case, then you fine. But you fine if you don't live. But if y'all trying to live and you ain't got nothing in the cover, man, you gonna be in trouble. So true financial planning is understanding money. That's why this show here is called Understanding Money. You have got to master yourself and help you and keep yourself from spending all that you have. I don't care if you're saving $5 a week or $5 a day. You've got to do that, because we're coming in and living in the times where it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And if you don't have, they're just going to say, shame on you. It's nobody to blame.
Rob, and I think that we really want to believe the lies that we've been told, that this country is a country that's fair and equal for everybody. It is not. The reason that you and I do what we do is because we also know that it's designed to keep us, quote unquote, broke, poor, sick, subservient. It's designed that the powers that be literally have created laws. Oh man, I had the chance of interviewing Dr. Claude Anderson multiple times. Matter of fact, I was a part of bringing him into Fort Lauderdale to speak once. The place was packed at the library, the African American library there. People standing around the walls. And Rob, he talked about how this system is set up because he worked in the government. And one thing that he was in a position to do at one time, Rob, was to give free land.
Wow.
Free land, Rob.
Wow.
Free land to certain people. But now, again, being in the government, he was asked to do things for those that were in the, we really do have, we've been bamboozled to believe that the people who quote unquote vow for a vote and want to go to Congress, and they're not bad people. But when has anyone gone and said, I want to make sure that poor people, Black people, brown people, non-white people, we want to make sure that they can come up, rather than telling people, and the old saying of lift yourself up by your bootstraps and you don't even have boots. But if you recognize that the system is set up against you, you really got to take notice and do something different, and not always be moved by these trinkets. There was another story that was on the news, because I have to select the news that I want to watch. But there was a story out of Georgia where there was a car dealer that was taking advantage of the folks that said or believed in the fact that because of the tariffs, I should buy my car now. And this dealership, was on fire.
Yeah,
with people coming in, buying, some people even paying cash for cars.
Wow.
And waiting for them to give them what was due them for the car that they traded in. They never got it, Rob.
Wow.
They never. And then the bank took over the dealership, so they still don't have it. So look. So come on, man. The awakening has to be not tomorrow. It has to be today. And you have to do what we say: ask, seek, and knock. Even if you're just asking, tell me something I don't know that's true. Rob, because a lot of people,
when would you want to hear it?
Yeah, right. Tell me something that I don't know that's true. So, Mr. Henderson, start with the budget, and then what?
Hey, when you start with that budget, because the budget's gonna let you know a lot. The budget's your number. What is your number? How much do you need in today's dollars in order to pay for all the essentials that you need to take care of yourself? How much you need to know that figure. When you start and sit down and figure out that figure, how much you need to know to pay for your light bill, your water bill, all your utilities, and pay for your mortgage or your rent or whatever, your car note, whatever. You got to know that number. That's enlightenment. That's something that you need to know. You can't just say, I don't know what it is, I just pay it. No, it's time for you to grow up and say, I need to be a manager of myself. I need to know what that number is. Now, once I get that number, I need to know what's coming in and how am I being able to meet those needs. And if it's a job or it's a retirement, if it's enough, in other words, if your overhead expense is $5,000, but you're bringing in $6,000, okay, you're all right. But that has to continue. That has to continue for the rest of your life. Now, I don't know if you're getting that from your pension, or if you're getting that from Social Security, or if you're getting that from your investment. Depends on what type of investment. But once you do that number, now, if you can't do it, that's what the Henderson Financial Group is. What we do. We sit you down and we go over budget. We go over cash flow. What is your number today? Now, we know that in 20 years, that number going to double. That's just the way life is. So if your money is not keeping up and growing, so in 20 years, it'll be able to pay for your lifestyle then you're going to be in trouble. Okay. That's financial planning. Now, there are a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I can't help these people. Let me tell you why I cannot help them. Because you got to help yourself first. It always starts. The good book says you got to make one step and the creator will make two steps for you. You have to, man, because if you know that you're working a 9-to-5 job and they're paying you a certain amount of money, and after you get that money, you pay all your necessary bills and you don't have nothing left over, but you got another 8 hours left over and you just decide to do nothing, I can't help you. I want to make sure y'all just heard what I said. I remember when I was in my young ages, 20, 21 years old, and I was working for CBS Channel 4 as a graphic designer, and they was paying me decent money. But I said I wanted to be wealthy when I grow up. So rather than doing like the rest of the people that was in the graphic department, I said I need to have an edge. They're paying me $500 a week, but I need to get more. Why? Because I I wasn't born rich. I wasn't getting no inheritance. So I wanted to, since I had more time, I wanted to use that time to make extra money. In other words, I was a squirrel that was eating my nuts, but I needed more nuts to put away. So then that's why I went and got a side hustle. I went and got a real estate job doing part-time. You follow me? So now if you are sitting here and you work for the state or the federal government, and the amount of money that you're receiving is not enough in order to get you where you want to go, your dreams, then you got to get yourself another plan. I'm not saying leave that job. You got to stay on that job if you're on that job and you like the job, but you got to get you a side hustle. Let me tell you something. Everybody in Congress has a side hustle. I want to say it again. The lawmakers, every lawmaker has a side hustle. They even have a construction business. They have furniture business. They're in the banking. Everybody who are really living the lifestyle they want to live, I promise you, they all have a second source of income. You have to, because if this one job phases you out, listen, got a client. This guy's a minister. His wife works. He has another administrative job that he's been working for 15 years. They just told him they're phasing his position out after 15 years. Thank God he has a wife, and thank God he's a minister and he gets paid there. But now we're actually changing things because that extra money that he was making, they just phased it out. He just like it wasn't. He didn't want that to happen, but stuff happens. Let me tell you something. Stuff will always happen as long as you are alive. I want to say it again. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care where you are. Stuff is going to always happen. The only way you can get past stuff happening is you got to have some reserves. You have to have some extra money. Me, y'all don't understand. I love my business and what I do. I got 5 children. I'm a husband. I got family members, and stuff always happens. and I'm gonna tell you something. 95% of your problems can be solved if you could just write a check and get rid of it. Now, if you can't do that, now I didn't say use a credit card. I didn't say borrow money as a credit card. I said you gotta have some reserves. If I come home and the garage door is just all of a sudden not opening, I don't even sweat. I just say, call the man. How quick can he get here? But if I don't have the reserves, I'm in trouble. That's why you can't eat all your nuts. That is financial planning. That is financial planning, not eating and living paycheck to paycheck. It's your fault. That's why the rich and wealthy don't pity you. They don't. They just slash. They say they cutting out Head Start, Job Corps, Medicaid. They saying if this James, we was talking, it's a detour right now. It's like, man, why is this happening? It's the strong is going to survive. You got to get yourself another plan, man. That's what financial planning is. You got to get yourself another plan, man. You got to stop thinking that the man gonna take care of you. The man don't care about you, man. You got to take care of me, myself, and I. You got to get up all. And here's a guy that's living. He thinks that he's doing good because he's making $100,000 and he's working for the man. And what he does is he spends a lot of his time doing recreational stuff when he leaves the man. He's an accident waiting to happen because he don't have a reserve. He feels that job is going to be there forever, but he's an accident. You've got to do financial planning and save more. Where do you save that extra? Investments. You got to make your money grow. And there's different type of investments that we'll talk about. If you did a good job investing, then one day you're going to come to a point where you say you're tired. James T and I, we taking a position as the fish take. Fish swimming till they dead. James T and I, we gonna do this until we dead. A lot of y'all tired.
Birds fly till they die.
Birds fly till they dead. That's our position. But a lot of y'all don't have that position. A lot of y'all talking about y'all want to retire because y'all 65. 65. I'm past 65 right now. That ain't nothing to me. You know? And then once you set up a retirement plan that y'all want to retire and stop working and do nothing, you got to make sure that you got enough money coming in to support your lifestyle. And if you do that right, then you have estate planning. Now, you only need estate planning, wills and trusts if you own something. But if you don't own nothing, like my Uncle Willie ain't own nothing. He was a Rolling Stone. He didn't have no will, no trust, or anything because he ain't having to leave nobody. But if you have something that you want to leave people, you have assets, you have real estate, your investments, then you need to have a living trust. You need to have something to avoid probate. And I can't say everybody need a living trust because you have a significant other, then you can leave it to that person. But then after that, you need to have a trust. Otherwise, the government going to eat you up and an attorney's going to eat you up. But you need to have financial planning, huh?
One of the things that the Henderson Financial Group does as well, when they come in and are serious and honest about wanting to do better, you can help them to see opportunities and things, because oftentimes, man, we really don't know the value of what we have. As Robert Henderson would say, I'm going to say that again. You just think you have nothing. First of all, you've been given the gift of life. So that's a good start. That's a great start. But then to realize that when you can talk with people that have talked with people, have helped people such as yourself, Rob, and all those that work with you, when you begin to talk with people like that, folks that are listening, you'll find out, well, wait a minute. I do have something. I have life. And yes, as Robert said, I just worked that job. I come home and I watch the playoffs. Well, okay, but does the playoffs pay off? Who gets paid for the playoffs, Rob? It's not
the
those
players.
of us.
Players. If you ain't playing, you ain't getting paid.
Right. So all of a sudden, what are you doing with that time? Well, hey, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything, some people would say. But my thing is like some poet wrote the song, The House with Nobody in It. Rob, if you stop doing, it looks like from what I observe with other people, all kinds of things start happening to that house that spirit lives in. And now, oh my goodness, I've got the doctor bill. I've got, or maybe a therapist, whatever. So folks, what Mr. Henderson is saying, if you will come, if you will make that call, if you will set up a schedule and a chance to meet, he'll take a good look at where you are, and he can advise you as to some of the things that you can do. I mean, before he ever became my financial advisor, hey, I bought a Christmas gift from him for my nieces and nephews and told them, hey, okay, y'all Christmas gifts are over. And I don't know what was it, $4,000 or $5,000, Rob, for that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I did give them the financial gift for that Christmas, and I gave them that gift for them to earn more than what I would ever give them. Now, think about that. We have an opportunity to earn more than what someone else is willing to pay us, because they only value us based on what they say they want to give us for what they want us to do. And we can do far more. Rob, we can do far more than what other people are paying us to do.
Yeah, we really could, if you know your value, if you look at yourself. But you got to feel good about yourself and feel that you can do what you want to do. And I don't know if a lot of people feel like that about themselves. There's a lot of people feel anxiety, or they feel hopelessness, or they feel that it's over for them. A lot of people, when they get past 50 years old, they feel like, it's over for them. But it's never over until the fat lady sings, as they say. It's never over until, you're in the grave. There are a lot of people that start businesses at 60 years old. I mean, you look at Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. I mean, it's Colonel Sanders. I mean, he started that, in his 60s. McDonald's, all of them, So it's never too late. As long as you got a pulse and brain, then there's a lot of things that you can do to help people, and it's all service. If you want money, you got to go into the service business. You got to serve people and help people solve problems. That's what it is. You got to help people, and if you want money, that's the only way that you're going to earn more money, is serving people. The greater you are, the more you serve, and the more you serve, the greater you are. Now, Martin Luther King told us that. So if you don't want to do nothing, there's some people that work jobs right now. Tavares is telling me about someone that called in and he wanted to know if he could retire. And Tavares asked him, well, do you like your job and what are you doing? He says, man, I got a job. I don't do nothing. So Tavares says, well, how old are you? He says he's 62. He want to know, should he retire? So Tavares asked him, well, how much are you making? He's making over $100,000 a year. So Tavares say, well, what you want to retire to do what? I mean, if you got a sweetheart job and you say you don't do nothing, why would you want to stop getting paid for doing nothing? I mean, just to say you retired? I mean, that don't make, I'm telling you, the mental thing that's going on with a lot of people in this whole thing of retirement is amazing. I mean, I was reading a billionaire, this guy, multi-billionaire of a corporation, and he's 72 years old and he's still working. He said he don't understand this whole Americans race to retire thing. And when a lot of them can't afford to retire, especially live. But he says a lot of people are on this, I want to hurry up and do nothing. And he said he's a billionaire. He don't understand it. He could retire right now being a billionaire, but he said he's still working. He loves to do what he do. It keeps him active, So I don't know. I don't know if it's because of Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Apple TV and sports has got people just want to sit and just do nothing. But the creator of the heavens and the universe did not purpose us to do nothing.
No, Rob, stop playing the game and change the game.
Yeah.
See, Rob, we've been duped, man. Because the game we're playing is a plan that somebody else has for us so that they can pick our pocket. Rob, I'm serious, Rob. Hey,
you see Parnell say, we just getting started. That's my boy, Parnell. Parnell said, me and Parnell go back a long ways, man. I remember Parnell first bought his first piece of real estate. I could have took the deal, and he was coming to the office and we used to talk. And I said, okay, here's a deal right here you can take. Man, Parnell took that deal. He took that deal, and boy, that property value in terms of time. And he did some more deals. He do some more deals. So now, hey, he bought some property in the neighborhood that now people in all aside of him, they're selling their houses for $800,000 or $900,000, and the people are coming in there building $2 and $3 million homes. Tearing that. Listen, it's an area inside of Miami that wealthy people are buying the houses for $700,000 to $800,000. So people are saying, "Whoa!" I mean, they bought the properties for $200,000. Ain't been 20 years, and that certain area is hot now. It's hot. So they're offering people $700,000, $800,000 to sell their property, and when they sell it, they tear the house down, and they build these $3 million homes, the new modern square like sugar cubes, we call them, and that's if when you look back and you say, how did this happen? That happens because you plant a seed. That wasn't get rich quick. You planted a seed. He didn't eat all his nuts. He had some nuts he set aside and he bought. That's what financial planning. That's why they call it planning. It's not financial instant. We don't call this financial instant. Instant, like instant Quaker Oat. It's not instant. It's planning. When you say planning, it takes time. And most people don't understand that. You got so many grown people still want instant gratification. They want instant everything. They want instant marriage. They want instant love. They want instant riches. That is a sucker game. And the system is against you. That's like you think you're going to Las Vegas, you're going to just break the casino. No, you only break yourself.
Hey, Rob, so that casino doesn't stay open with people winning money. No, it stays open with people making deposits.
That's
but of course we're gonna always believe, Rob. But I'm gonna be that one. I'm gonna be. And if you listen to Charles Barkley and some of the others who have told their stories about going in and dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars in a casino.
Yeah. It's designed to eat you up.
Rather than saying, wait a minute, if I spent $800,000 to $1 million and bought every house on this block where I grew up, and even turned around, to be benevolent and told the people who live there, what are you paying for rent today?
Yeah, man.
What's your mortgage? Hey.
So, people just don't understand. But when you have a financial plan, when I say go over your budget, find out what's your number, and then when you have access over that, you want to go into financial planning. You want to go into investments. Now, when you come to us, I'm going to look at your goals and your objectives. I'm going to look at your risk tolerance. Not everybody belongs in the stock market. Matter of fact, I would say most people do not belong in the stock market because it's too unpredictable. And it's like a roller coaster. But there are other investments that you can invest that can get stock market returns and you don't have to lose a penny. And those are the things that don't seem so exciting, but those are the things that a lot of wealthy people use. They don't just use the stock market. They use things that mimic the stock market, but don't have any stock market risk. Do you know there are some plans that you can say, okay, I'm going to put $500 a month into this plan, and I'm going to do this for the next 10 years. You'll be surprised how much, and it cannot lose a dime. And then when you get to a point where you do want to retire, it'll start paying you monthly, just like a pension. And you cannot lose a penny in it. You cannot lose a penny in it. And you can set it up where you can do $100 a month, or you can set it up. Some people do $1,000 a month. Some people do $500. You can set it up how much you want. And I'll show you about it. And there's different companies, and it's safe. And these companies have been around for 100 years. And just because you don't know about it, that don't mean it's not out there. Most people only think about putting money in the bank or a CD. A CD is like buying a beeper now. That's really outdated. There are things that you could, if you don't have all the money now. I told you financial planning takes time. So you don't have to be rich instantly. You can say, I'm going to do something where I can be far ahead in the next 10, 20 years. That's financial planning. And the problem is a lot of grown people want it instantly. Now, if you are 60 years old and you plan on being alive, you still could go ahead and you can plan. If you're 70 years old, you never stop planning. You don't know how long God gonna have you on this earth, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have.
Wow, it is something. So, folks, you've been hearing us, and for those of you that have been with us for a while, we're going to encourage you to please share. You have your social platforms. Share. Tell others about it. But sharing the information will help you to help others. And I was talking earlier about how I had interviewed on several occasions Dr. Claude Anderson. And I would call him because the program that we were doing, which was called Hot Talk, Rob, came on 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, okay, 11 to 1. And one of my pet peeves about that was, if you really want to help our community, why would you put information that they need on at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night until 1 a.m. on Monday morning?
Wow.
Now, Rob, come on.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, James, you make a good point.
Rob, but I would share this information, but when, you can't tell me, Rob, that we are going to do business together and we talk once a year, or we talk once a month, or we don't communicate at all. Just say, hey man, I was thinking about you. Come on, hey man, sharing information and empowering others. So here's a quote that I have, because Dr. Claude Anderson, when he came to show us how little we knew, when he spoke at the African American Library, he asked a question. He said, with all that's going on in all the communities at that time and still today throughout our country, who is the highest law enforcement officer in Broward County? Rob, no seats were empty in that building. People standing around the walls. And no one knew the answer to that question.
Wow.
And the person that was the highest law enforcement officer at that time had been elected for years
Without any challenges.
For years. And we didn't know who he was. Come on, Rob. So what else do we not know? Here's that quote before we get out of here. Here's a quote that I've been studying with Dr. Claude Anderson. He says, power is the ability to get things done despite the resistance and opposition of others. Economics is the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and wealth performance. Powernomics then is the ability of Blacks to pool resources and power to produce, distribute, and consume in a way that creates good. There was a time, and of course our younger people can't even fathom it, whereas everything that you needed, quote unquote, was in the community where you lived. People of color, Black, we don't have that. And it's because we won't come together and work together so that we can build together and so that we can create and produce together so that we can have the blessings that come to us to go through us. So, amen. I just continue to pray that something that you say on these platforms will stick with someone that will say, I'm not just going to do it so that I can have more. I want to make this change so that I can do more. And in my having more and getting more, I can give more so that others can also, someone on something, somebody said, the tide, high tide rises all boats. He said, but if you don't have a boat, whether the tide is high or low, it really doesn't matter. So if we have nothing and we're not trying to work together to have, oh man, we will stay begging others to do for ourselves what we can do for ourselves.
Yeah, man. But then it all starts with me, myself, and I.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
It all starts personal. It all starts with you doing your part. That's that you cannot have a we or us before you have an I. So you have got to do your part to make yourself financially strong. You cannot eat all your nuts and the next person, your friend, eating all his nuts or her nuts. How y'all gonna get together to do anything? You can't network. Everybody has got to be valuable. Everybody has got to be independently, mentally wealthy. And then you become physically wealthy. But it starts in the mind. That's how we overcome. You have to have some. It's the same concept as a football team or any team. Each individual plays their individual position, but they're good at it. They're very good at it. They're very good at it. They're very good at it. And then they become a team. I mean, if I raise my hand, I got 5 fingers. All 5 fingers are good at their position. The thumb is good at being the thumb. You know what I mean? The pinky sure enough is good at being the pinky, and the index finger and the pointer. I mean, they're good at their positions. They know their positions. But first, it starts independently. That's what happens. Now, if you have this 5 fingers, and all 4 of them don't work, and you just got the thumb, it's gonna be hard for y'all to work together because the other 4 are down. So in other words, if I'm rich and my other 4 friends are broke and poor, how are we gonna come together to do something? We can't grip the ball. We can't. That's why it's so important to start. It starts with you. What are you doing? How are you creating your financial plan and wealth building plan? Because somebody else is doing it and somebody else is doing it. And then you all come together. If only one is doing it, you need somebody else individually on their own to do the same thing. And this one takes care of themselves. Fine. And this one and this one. Now y'all come together and y'all can grip that ball. Y'all can even make a fist. Y'all could do a lot of stuff together. And that's what the Creator has written in the scriptures for us to do. And we just don't understand it. It hadn't clicked on us. But I'm telling you, that's how it all starts. That's how my man there, Parnell, he said, help me, Robert, and show me and give me a new thought so I could become strong and then we could do things together, which we are. You see? Yes, James T. Oh man, James T. You was building yourself up. Man, you was building yourself up 30 years, man. Even though you was working at Hot 105.99 Jams, programming everything, you still was planting seeds to building something up. And we come together and you have something. James, you have something I could even advise you on. I could tell you, but you had to do it way before I was in your life. Isn't that something?
Rob, but again, Rob, and we can do so much more together. That's what it is. It's the power of us working together. And it doesn't mean that you separate yourself from everybody else. It's just that you're becoming the best you can be. And you'll attract, because we'll service, hey, Rob, we'll service everybody and anybody through that we have. We don't say, well, hey, but we have to have something. And I think that we have to realize, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, hey, man, we have everything that we need if we will only get our minds right and recognize that the system is not set up to support you and to make you the best you can be. But that doesn't mean that you can't use the system, because we help. This country is what it is because people who look like us help to build it.
Yeah. So this is the wisdom and understanding that we all need. It's okay to have a 9-to-5 job. It's okay to work for the man, the woman, the system. It's okay. But that's not all you equipped for. That's not your only purpose. Your purpose is just like a squirrel. You're going to eat them nuts, but you got to save some nuts. That's how you begin to move the ball. That's how you begin to move the ball. And I cannot express enough that the beauty and the power of it is TIME, time. Stop this instant gratification. There are so many different distractions that are telling you how to get rich quick. That is an illusion. That's not of God. I'm telling you, anything that's quick, fast, in a hurry is not the universal law. It's not. Just look at the 4 seasons. They all come at the same time. There's time. TIME. Man, you got to understand time. Even the birth of a child, even a child. My grandson, he's 7 years old. Oh my God. Time went by. Them 7 years go by. When I tell you, let's work this plan and it's going to take 10 years, you shouldn't be frowning and saying that's too long. Too long for what? Are you going, if I told you you only have 10 years to live, you ain't gonna say that's too long. You can say, damn, that's all. So when I tell you 10 years to plant and invest and keep your head down and don't get distracted by them new shiny cars and the clothes, that's an illusion. That's to take you off your game. Just bite the bullet. 10 years. And if you say you can't do it, you're not worthy of getting to the promised land. You really not. You have got to be able to commit yourself and be disciplined and be strong for at least 10 years. If you can't do that, we will never be able to come together and build what we want to build. It's just an illusion. But you got to get over that TIME, because time waits for no one, you know. That's one thing. It waits for no one.
Rob, for those who thought that, hey, 2025 would not be here, wait till 2026, 2027, 2028. Wait till
it's coming.
Oh, believe me.
And if you ain't doing nothing in 2025, what you think you're going to have for 2026? What? Listen, we're making plans. I'm doing stuff. I've set investments out right now that's supposed to start in 2027. Listen, I'm just doing the foundations and putting them down there, but y'all don't even see it. As a matter of fact, they got the greatest, one of the great motion pictures of all time. It's set to come out in 2028. Y'all, just because y'all don't see it, y'all think they're not working on it. They working on it. They already got the cars. If you going crazy over this car, you got to have this car. They got the 2029 car already out. That's how you got to work in the invisible, in the unseen. I'm telling you, man, this is how, if you don't understand this, you're going to always be a day late and a dollar short. You have got to understand how they doing it. It's not what you see right now. It's what you don't see.
Give them that number, Rob. We got to get out of here. Give them
That's right. Oh, my God. They get ready to get me started preaching, man. 305 825 1444. 305 825 1444. That's the office number. You can call. We can have a private consultation. You can do a Zoom, go to meeting, conference call, and I'll go over your stuff. Okay, everybody can get appointment. You can get appointment. You can get appointment. Everybody can get appointment. There is no can't get appointment. Okay, you can talk to me and go over all your stuff. One thing I do require is effort. You got to be serious, because you can't take up my time. You got to be serious and say, hey, I want to be better, and tell me some things that I don't know and that I should know that's going to help me to be better. And you can always go to our website too at the Henderson Finance Group. Don't just say Henderson. It's the Henderson Finance Group. Some people say the Henderson Finance Group.com. www.thehendersonfinancialgroup.com. You can make an appointment. You can fill out forms there, and you can send them in, intake sheets, and we can be on and popping.
Amen.
James, we need prayer, brother. Mother's Day. Hold on. What is this? What is this?
Hey, by the way, everybody, hit Mr. Henderson up and wish he and his wife a happy anniversary. They celebrated last year.
Yeah,
so put in happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
That was last night. 38 years of legal marriage. Been together 3 years prior to that.
Yeah,
boy, I tell you that right there is a phenomenon. Now you talking about
stop, Rob. Don't even get into
that. Time. I don't know how the time. It's been 38 years, man. If you'd have told me when me and Natalie got together, y'all gonna be, y'all gonna make 30 years, I'd have said, what you talking about, Willis?
Father God, Lord Jesus, Holy Spirit, we thank you for this right now moment, and we thank you for all that you have given us, that we have tried to give of that, so that others would be blessed through us, so that you would be glorified, and that we would recognize, though we live in this country, this city, this county, wherever that is, that we should work to become better citizens of the kingdom. Oh, because your word teaches us, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And if we will do that, we will learn to earn and to come together as one and as citizens under a commonwealth of a kingdom that gives us access to all that you have. And you created it all, the heavens and the earth. And we ask if you will do this and keep your promises to us, that we will glorify you in Jesus' name and for your name's sake.
Let the
Amen,
church say
amen,
amen. Let the church say
amen,
amen.
amen.
Amen. Hey, thank you all for those happy anniversaries. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey man, I'm glad I stuck through it. It's good, and boy, I tell you, at least I know
Stop
who I'm
saying
with.
you ain't stuck through nothing. She stuck
Hey,
through you.
hey, people say I'm smart. No. Natalie way smarter than me. Way smarter than me. Anytime somebody been retired for over 30 years, that's the one who's smart.
Bye.
Y'all have a good one. Have a good one. Love y'all. We will be back here next Saturday. So stay tuned. I want to talk more about financial strategy next Saturday. So be here, same place, same time, same station, and invite someone to also to get the wisdom. And if you miss something, you can go back because we on Facebook and YouTube. You can hear this over and over. Get the replay. I'm going to tell you one thing. We gonna be all right, but you gotta start. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Shouts out to Scott Malone in Central Georgia, Rob. And
Congratulations.
congratulations on his big. Hey, everybody that we know is willing to step up and step out, Rob, in faith.
Yes. Scott Malone, my man. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
Much love.